Life, people, is getting harder. Man, I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos of people kind of breaking down the difficulties of life, just kind of taking you guys with me on my day. It's my little one. Life is getting harder. Man, these are the times where real men shine. Life gets hard. It's our responsibility to get harder. But what's life? People. You didn't have any people in this world, including yourself. Who could really say it would be hard or not? We don't make up necessarily all of life situations and circumstances, but we make up a good percentage of those situations and circumstances, just dealing with people, sharing the struggles with others, you know. You have to be able to handle the difficulties and challenges that come with interacting with others, whether it's the management, bosses, CEOs of your company, co-workers, neighbors, traffic, you name it. I would agree that all of these dimensions in life are getting harder. Hey, coming from Detroit, trust me, I know about having a hard life and having to fight for jobs of people who are like 20 years older than you. Even McDonald's, I can remember back in 2005, 2004, as a young teenager, just trying to get a fast food job in high school was challenging because you have people who are like in their 40s working these jobs. So even back in 2005, it was, a lot of us teenagers back then having to compete with, hey, how you doing? Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Good to see you. If you have any topics, feel free to share. I'm just talking about how hard life is. That's good. Good to hear that you're doing good. My little girl here, she over here hanging out. Hello, how you doing? Oh, it's good to see you guys. Thank you for joining my live. This is my first live. The the original live I did it didn't have anybody in there, so I appreciate you guys doing. How you doing, Carlos? And thank you so much. Yeah, she's running around. I try to help out the wife early in the morning before work. It's sort of like my work day. Say, hey, mama. Hey, mama. Yeah, she thinks she's a little adult, so she runs around and the babies want to play with every toy except the kids' toys. They want to, they want the containers and, all the adult stuff. She's over in the cabinets looking at the dishes. Obviously, she can't wait to become an adult because she loves doing the kiss. Say, hey, mama. Say, hey. Say, hey, mama. Do that. Do that. Yeah, this is Harmony. Thank you for love. Thank you for subbing and thank you for liking. I really appreciate that. You guys are so sweet. You're so awesome. I just wanted to kind of introduce you to my world. I'm new to YouTube. I got dishes. I'm a therapist. Look, therapists got dishes too. Hey, what's up, Carlos? How you doing? If you guys have any topics, you would like to ask me, feel free to join. This is the life of a therapist before we get to work. We got we got dishes here, guys. We got food that needed to be put up last night. I don't know why it's still here. Gotta put that up. Try to make some breakfast. I got the little one. Hey. She's running around dodging the life of a parent. So life is hard, guys. It is. I can understand, people feeling a little bit discouraged by the economy right now and just feeling kind of beat up. I mean, I always try to tell the young men, when life gets hard, we're called to get harder. We're called to get tougher. And for me, what helped me get through life, coming from Detroit, coming from nothing, from poverty, coming from the bottom, is having a strong faith in God. Having a higher power is someone I could pray to, I can talk to help take some of that weight off of me. When you're carrying the weight by yourself, it's our little play area over here. We kind of got the little balls. They don't really sell enough of these balls, guys. When I bought a couple of packs from Walmart, you guys let me know. What does it feel like to work as a therapist? Such a great question. Whew. I want to say on my caseload right now through growth therapy, I probably have about 155 people. It's a lot. It's a lot. I love doing what I do, so it doesn't feel as much as work because I love helping people. I love working with people, but being a therapist is a lot of mental energy. Being a therapist is a lot of research, a lot of study. You almost kind of feel like a teacher as a therapist because out of the over 100 plus cases I have to do a lot of lesson planning. I have to connect a lot of the previous, skills and tools that we went over from the previous sessions. I have to link it all together, right? When people come to therapy, if you've been working with them for 3-4 months plus, they want to make sure that everything is connected. So it's a lot. It could take a big toll on you. When you're listening to people's problems, I work from about 8 in the morning until 8 at night, so about 12 hours, 3 days a week. The one thing that's good about it is, you're never out of a job because, and this isn't me saying like, oh, the more things are tighter, the more I keep work. I'd always tell people, look, if you're still working with me, we're not doing something right. The goal is to get you up out of here within 5 or 6 months. And even if you stay longer, that's fine. But a therapist's job shouldn't be to keep people, in their pain. You're supposed to graduate and launch people and give them the skills to kind of get going, If you don't know, where we going? Where we going? So yeah, being a therapist is a lot of work, man. You have to be able to pray and to ask God to kind of separate all the depression, the trauma, the pain that you're hearing from your personal life. I got a baby, so when I get off of work, I tell men, you got your 9 to 5 and then you got your 5 to 9. You got to come home and do your family work. Let's say, oh my, so at the afternoon, nobody switches. Yeah, it's basically work all day. Where you going, Mom? You about to go? You got the shoe? Yeah, so I work for myself. Growth therapy is a blessing because it allows you to kind of create your own schedule, kind of do your own thing. So yeah, no switches, no breaks. I barely even get time for lunch. In between my cases, guys, I'm like trying to stuff in some food. I got bowls. If you see my my desk with my computer where I work from, I got bowls of food and all kind of stuff up there. Do you have advice for people to not be grounded for as long as you're supposed to be? Advice for being able to not be grounded for as long as you're supposed to be. Can you break that down a little bit? Do you have advice for people, or do you have advice for being able, I don't have my glasses on, so excuse me, guys. Do you have advice for being able to not be grounded for as long as you are supposed to be? Is this like for younger people, like kids who get in trouble and they have to be put on punishment or grounded or something like that, like advice for them not to be grounded as long? Is that what you mean? Look, she over here. See, the kids want to play with stuff that's not kid stuff. So parents, we spend all that money on all these toys. Look at this, she got all these toys. She got toys here, toys over here. She got toys here. Look, she got toys, all these toys. And look what she got in her hand. She got the shoes. She got the baby food. Okay, these are some new babies, all right? They maybe have always been this way, but they don't want to play with baby stuff. To not be as grounded, advice to not be as grounded, to not be grounded as long as you want to just do the right thing. Listen to your parents. I will be doing a series on teenagers and kids. I do work with families of all ages. If you don't want to be grounded for as long as you don't, for an extended period of time for something that you did and you don't want to stay grounded, The best thing is to do is first apologize for what you did, and also to, hey, is it K Weeds? Hey, thank you so much. Says when I get in trouble, they just have a talk with me. Yeah, just to kind of talk to you. The parents talk to the children, say, hey, what do you think is a fair consequence for what you did? You know, when we do the positive parenting trainings as therapists, we always ask the parents to collaborate with the children on fair rules and fair consequences. You did A, B, C, or D. It was a violation, it was wrong. What do you think is a fair consequence for this violation? You know, and sometimes we even have the parents pull out a chart. And when the children have, and a teen, whoever the age is, whenever they have a role in sort of like establishing the consequence, like what do you think is a fair amount of time to be grounded for each of these different offenses? You know, even kind of establishing a grounding chart. No, like they talk with me and then we're done. Yeah, some parents just talk to their children and then, you know, it's just a one and done. But it also depends on if that child is like a reoffender. Like if you ground them and you have a talk and then not even an hour later they do the same thing again, then sometimes you got to ground your kids. You know, you got to set some sort of grounding is just another way of saying boundaries. I have to establish and really express this boundary for you to understand what you did was wrong. Whether it's limiting you to getting your cell phone, limiting you for going out hanging out with your friends, stuff like that. Because you have some kids you ground and then they go out and do the wrong thing again. So the parents, they have to set some sort of like consequences. Yeah, mama. Your mama. Every time she hear me talking, she always screaming for me. Yeah, the kids don't want kid things, guys. They do not want kid things. Yeah, you hear me talking about you? Where you going? Well, she like to go upstairs. She going upstairs. She done with me. Yeah, so kind of create a chart, a grounding chart. So that way the children know ahead of time. What do you believe is a fair amount of time to be grounded or a fair consequence? Like if it's a one offense, the first time is something that they, you know, we try to give our kids a one and done. Okay, this is your first time. You're gonna have a talk. After that, you know, you're free. Go ahead and do your thing. It happens twice. You know, maybe you have to be, you know, ground them for about a day or a couple days. You know, you want to create a chart that has like expectations. So that way, before they go and do the wrong thing, look, here she go. Mama, you gonna make daddy work, huh? They kind of have like an expectation of what the consequence is. Sometimes parents, they ground the children after the fact. You gotta have something already kind of laid out ahead of time because it says no, like they do it and still, and I'm 10. You're 10, I get you. I get you. We were all 10. I get you. We were all 10 years old. Don't worry, you won't be 10 forever. You know, you'll grow up and you'll grow past that. But really look at your grounding as a good thing. You're learning boundaries early on. This is one of the main things that I teach a lot of my clients in their 40s and 50s. Boundaries, respecting others' boundaries, respecting others' limits. You notice in this world, you have a lot of pain and suffering because a lot of people have a hard time respecting others' boundaries and just right from wrong. So if you can learn from your parents being grounded at a young age, like, man, this maybe wasn't the best thing to do. You know, you're getting some really good knowledge early on, but they saying that would do it forever. Yeah, parents will make you, yeah, I know, you're 10 years old, you know, you think you're gonna get grounded forever, huh? They tell you you're gonna be grounded forever, that's cute. You know, there is a form of being grounded forever when you become an adult. It's called the law enforcement. You know, if you break the rules in society and violate, they got a thing called jail. That's a form of being grounded. You know, but in terms of like parenting, you know, they say that, but they just want you to be, you know, a well-developed human being. A lot of the kids I work with who could do whatever they want, because you got kids like that. You're 10 years old, so you know there's some kids at your school that just seems like they got a freedom to do whatever they want to do. Those are sometimes some of the worst, difficult kids, the most challenging kids to work with, even to be friends with, right? You're trying to tell your friend, hey, help me out with this school project. They're like, you do the work. You know, I might want to help you with this. This is that where everyone go, they're not talking, oh yeah, work, You know, people gotta work. You know, I'm up. Like I said, I have my own. You know, I'm not working for myself, but I have my own platform. I can make my own. People gotta work. You know, what's up, Mama? In a beautiful, ideal world, people can sit on someone's live for an hour every morning and not have to worry about checking in to work, and they can relax and do things like this with their baby. A lot of people gotta go to work. When I was in the military, I ain't have no time. She says, "Oh, I'm the only person here." Thank you so much. I love you. I appreciate you for being here. Thank you so much for God bless you. Thank you for being here. You know, there's other people that's been kind of coming in and out. People working. They got kids. They checking, chasing their babies down. They got to run and cook. They're scrambling to cook breakfast and wait. What she got? Mama, what you doing? Yeah, people working. You're 10 right now, so you may not fully get it, but you have to get up for schools, you know, and scramble. I know the summertime is here, but she done got a hold of some salami. Mama, what's that? Where you get that? Kids do not like kid things. Okay, let that be the lesson for today. They want everything. Yeah, she done found some. Yes, Kiwi. She done found some pepperoni and some salami. Okay, you're seeing the life of a parent with a baby. All right, learn take these lessons wisely. You might have to chase your baby around the house with the pepperoni. You know, she got the pepperoni. What's this salami? Mommy found some salami. Okay, you love pepperoni. I know, right? Me too. I love pepperoni. So, yeah, you won't be grounded forever. You know, it's just something that we, as parents, try to teach our kids to kind of teach them discipline. You know, you said you love pepperoni. Yeah, I love pepperoni too. I think this is salami. She was able to manifest some salami out the couch. Um, what are some other things you're curious about? 10 years old. It's cool that you're watching. I would say, you know, as a marriage and family therapist, you know, I work with all ages, so I could give you some advice. What is some 10-year-old advice you would like? What are you doing, Mama? What are you doing, Mama? What's some advice that you would like at middle school? Whew. I always tell my younger people middle school was some of my best years. I went to a charter school for middle school, and it was like we had to take a test to get into it in Detroit. It was called University Public School. In Detroit, Wayne State University, a big college there, was experimenting on creating like a middle school where you had to wear uniforms. We literally had to follow arrows in the hallway in our middle school. It was like direction. You couldn't just walk in the hallway any kind of way. You had literally arrows. I'm like, is this kind of like a X-Men experiment or something? Like, I never had seen a school that had like arrows in the hallways. Because my big brother is going there after summer ends. Oh, I see, I see. Middle school was some of my best years. You meet some of the best friends. Um, Middle school is kind of like that stage where you really learn friendship at its a more deeper level, I would say. So tell your big brother to kind of really pay attention to the quality of friends and people that he meets in his life. I would say like in elementary school you have friends, but middle school is like it takes it to like the next level. Middle school is really fun. Um, you really get introduced and kind of launched off into some of the your math and subjects that really high school is going to kind of build on. So pay attention to your friendships in middle school. Have fun. I would say for your big bro. And he said, "Oh, my big brother doesn't like uniforms." Yeah, we had to wear uniforms. Does he have to wear uniforms at the middle school he's going to? Yeah, I thought uniforms was okay because we would have free dress days where you could kind of wear whatever you want to wear. So we used to go all in on those free dress days in middle school. But middle school is really fun. Anybody else who's watching have any advice for a big brother going to middle school? Let me think. What else in middle school? I used to have to catch the bus in Detroit to middle school, and it was it was a lot of snow in the wintertime, so it was like an adventure in middle school for me. What middle school? Um, Books, reading a lot of books was a big thing in middle school. Your brother's going to do a lot of reading. He's definitely going to meet a lot of friends. I want to say my first No, I had a crush in elementary school, but you know, relationships, you start, thinking people are so cute and all of that in middle school. And, as you get older, especially like seventh and eighth grade, I have a couple seventh graders that I'm working with that are kind of like, in relationships, the little puppy love, and their parents are divorced, so they have to go for one parent one week and another parent the next week in the summer, and they're upset because they like, man, I'm gonna miss my girlfriend when I'm with my mom, and we can't do things, and so you kind of get into that in middle school. Mommy, you say, I think it's just me. It says one person at the top right next to the amount of likes. Oh yeah, yeah. This is like one of my first times really doing a live stream. I'll do more. We're going to Hawaii on Monday. She done set the music off. She gave me some little background music. Mama. Yeah, I'm just really kind of starting live. I don't really do a lot of live, so you may not see a whole lot of people. You know, she got this little step toy where you kind of step on it. It's good for kids. That's probably the only baby toy she really played with is a step toy. Mama, where you going? Hey, say hey. Who's that? Who's that, Mama? Yeah, it's like a little step toy she like to play. That's like probably the only baby toy she play. Yeah, I see that. Your profile. So my wife, she loves cats. Yeah, I know. That's so cool. The cat with the glasses. How cool is that? So she loves playing with that. Mama, what's that? What's that? Sometimes she'll just run over there just to play. Nice, Juke. That's a cool name. Nice, Juke. I'm Randy, Juke. Nice to meet you. Thank you for joining my live stream. I really appreciate that. So yeah, just giving you guys a taste of my mornings as a therapist. Yeah, the little step music player. I know, right? You know, I'm a human too, and just showing you guys my morning routine, stuff all over the place. Hey, mama, what's that? Hmm? All right, come on. Come on. She in her feelings now. Mm. Mm. Yeah, so middle school is a really good time. Let me get her some air. It's kind of rainy out here. A little Marine Corps flag is kind of fading away. I wish they had like an anti-fade situation for the flags. I don't know why. I know, right, Mama? Who's that? Who's that? Yeah, so, man, I wish that was something I would have learned. How long she plays piano? She's really good. She plays for our church. I used to watch her get her piano lessons back in the 90s. She's really, really, really good. I used to be in band in middle school, so that's another thing in middle